for a lot of conservatives, they believe DEI just means black people getting jobs. And so when they see a black person in any job, they say, oh, that person's a DEI hire. They said it about the literal elected vice president of the United States.
Absolutely.
She wasn't hired. She was hired by the American people. 80 million Americans voted for her, but they can't see through her race and gender. So it isn't just about hiring black people and women, right? It's about disabled veterans being accommodated. It's veterans returning from wars are also under DEI.
Absolutely. And I see that as a veteran myself, right? I see this initiative as a direct impact and attack on veterans. Of the 2.2 million federal workers, 642,000 of those are veterans. And so this is, in my way of viewing this, is a direct attack against veterans as well. The misunderstanding of what DEI really is, it's on us to really educate the public as to what it really is all about.
They literally cut my food stamp card off. Zero balance. They took everything. I was just at Meijer's to get some groceries. I had a cart full of groceries, over $600 worth of crap. I went to go slide my card. It's gone. It is all gone. They aren't paying my rent this month. I don't get my disability or my kids' disability in the first. My cash benefits is gone. I had over $10,000 in food stamps and it's... Oh my God. So I told my husband and he says to me, as I'm crying, and he says to me, well, maybe you'll lose some weight now. God, why did I vote for him? I did not know this was gonna happen. I can't go get a job. Is there anybody out there that can help me, please? Please.
I'm so surprised how many people didn't know that with the DEI rollbacks, that meant that like there would also be rollbacks for specifically women. I don't know what y'all thought. What you thought? First of all, you thought these men respected us? What? Just because you're like a white woman? And I get like I'm a white woman, right? But like most political progress for women has come at the hands of women of color. Not to say that there haven't been prominent white women, but like when they're talking about like diversity in the workforce, they're talking about you. And now they're talking about like getting rid of things like Black History Month and Women's History Month. All the white women are suddenly like, what? This applies to us? I don't know if you know this, but they view you as someone they can oppress. It's like, I don't know why we're surprised. This also means that like it opens the door for them to allow for things like for you to be fired if you're pregnant, for them to take away more things like maternity leave and stuff like that. Y'all need to stop associating DEI with just black people or other people of color.
I'm making this video a little longer because this is gonna be a hard conversation for a lot of people, but I think it needs to be said. And I have been trying to say this for the last few years. I think it's very clear by now that veterans and military spouses are about to be laid off en masse. The veteran community is going to really struggle.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so guys, in today's episode, we've prepared some videos for you of white women suddenly coming to the realization that the DEI program benefited them a lot, yeah?
Right, when Trump first signed the order, which he ended DEI, this was the first time I was hearing of this term, and then a lot of videos started flooding in on TikTok from the black community explaining what DEI was and how it affected the black community and other minority groups.
Right.
Now, the first time I heard of the term DEI, I thought, oh, so this is a way the government was helping black Americans have equal opportunity when it comes to employment, amongst other things. Only for other people to start breaking it down and saying that actually the group that benefited the most from this program was palm-colored women and other minority groups. And then just just like always, they were putting Black Americans last when it came to those opportunities and lists.
Right, but guys, let's not forget that a huge amount of the palm-colored population of women voted for Trump. So is it to say that they really acted out of their ignorance and they were happy to do so,
So long as
just
it
because
didn't affect them, it would affect the Black community,
but they didn't know it would affect them so
also.
Right, but guys, you don't want to talk a lot. Let's just watch the videos we prepared for you and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch and then we come back.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The #1 recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. #1 recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. #2 are Asian Americans. #3 are Native Americans. #4, individuals with disability. #5, veterans. Okay? And #6, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI initiative programs.
So I just got my food stamp letter regarding my cash assistance and my disability because somebody reported me and they denied me for all of it. So me and my kids were getting disability. I was getting cash assistance and I was also getting food stamps. And they shut me off on all of them. I did an appeal. I just got my letter. So with this new 2025 food stamp that Trump is trying to pass, or is passed, if you are an able-bodied person, you have to go get a job. If you want food stamps, you have to go get a job. So I either have to go get a job or I lose my food stamps. But if I go get a job and start making money, then my disability, it gets canceled. So how does that work? Because I was on food stamps, I was on cash assistance, and I was on disability. Me and my kids. What I make should not matter for my kids' disability. Am I right or am I wrong about that? And my TikTok income is not considered a real job. I have to go get a real job if I want to keep my food stamp. But then I will lose disability if I get that job. Help me out, state of Michigan.
I know y'all. I know y'all that we supposed to be on here with our hair combed and everything else, y'all. But this is a matter of urgency. And JD Vance said, y'all, that he wants America to have babies. And what I realized what that means for white women is that now white women will be forced to bear children, and your children won't be sucking off my black tit. Do you understand that? And I just wanted to say, y'all, that you know what, this whole time, y'all, that I just thought that I wanted to be a housewife and a kept wife and everything else, y'all. And I said, ooh, shit. I'm glad I'm loud, independent, and black. Because there will be no jobs for white women. They think that civil rights and DEI is just about us, y'all. And merit equals rich, whitey men. And we already know white men do not want women working at all. They don't think that y'all are capable. They don't think, much less black women, but white women? Like, fuck no. They don't want y'all working. Girl, please, run who company? I said, ooh, and now it's all unfolding, y'all. The drama is all unfolding because black people have had 400 years to figure out how to survive. We'll be okay. And I'm willing, y'all, to lose my life about my freedom. So there's that. But then I thought about it and I said, ooh, y'all, I just wonder how I'm just sitting back and watching how this is going to play out for these white women, because there are no more immigrants to pick the fruit. Eggs are damn near $10, and y'all will be forced to have children, making you the said slaves.
I'm making this video a little longer because this is going to be a hard conversation for a lot of people, but I think it needs to be said. And I have been trying to say this for the last few years. I think it's very clear by now that veterans and military spouses are about to be laid off en masse. The veteran community is going to really struggle for a while, and it's going to be very scary, and we need to make sure that we are there for each other and we're doing everything we can, because a lot of these DEI layoffs include veterans and military spouses. Military spouses already have a really, really hard time getting jobs. It's been proven. There's been many studies done. You know, I was a part of a bunch of panels, and, you know, I did a lot when I was way more an advocate years ago before I was laid off from Meta. And I tried to do whatever I could to help people understand, but for a really long time, I think the message just got really muddled. So I want to talk about it now. Nobody wants to just sit at home and not feel fulfilled. So military spouses are able to get jobs, they're able to start their own businesses. There's lots of different things. There's lots of different things that people want to do. And we're not all women, so we need to make sure that, you know, we understand too that there are men out there that are military spouses as well, and there are dual military, and there's all sorts of stuff. But it is very hard when you move every 2 to 3 years to maintain a career. And especially after I got laid off from Meta, that was one of the final straws that led to my divorce. Give me 1 second. I know I haven't talked about it on here, but one thing that ended up happening after I was laid off from Meta was I realized I need a career. I need to fill. I need to be able to excel. I need to. I can't. You can't just depend on anyone, and it's really tough when you go from place to place and your stock isn't able to vest, and you basically are just not able to save for retirement, and you're having to use any emergency money to fill in the gaps between moves. It's really difficult, and especially when you feel obligated to pay his bill first, because if you have a spouse that has a security clearance, you have to make sure your credit is stays outstanding. So there's there's a lot of stuff, and it's really difficult when you have kids, and it's getting even harder with daycare. So I just wanted to come on here, I guess, and just remind people that these DEI initiatives that everyone is saying are awful, they include veterans and spouses too. And when a spouse can't work, sometimes that also impacts the mental health of the veteran. I don't want to even touch on that, but yeah, it's hard. I just wanted to, I guess, make a longer video just saying that I had multiple reasons why I didn't sign the meta severance, but I think that the biggest thing people need to know is that, you know, when I worked at Meta, we were training AI tools to look at different markers or indicators on LinkedIn profiles for someone who could be diverse. So it dawned on me that if we can do that, they can kind of reverse engineer it to avoid any candidates. Like companies can do that to avoid hiring any candidates that are seen as diverse. And for me to know that all veterans and military spouses are just going to have so many more barriers to employment, like, we have to make sure that doesn't happen. So yeah, I don't want to make this too much longer, but I definitely would be open to speaking to people about this, because I think that it is going to be a really big deal, and a lot of people they may not be personally impacted, but someone they love could be impacted. So check on your veterans, people you know that are veterans and military spouses. And if you are an employer and you can do more to learn about hiring veterans and military spouses, like, you know, there are programs out there that can help you understand, like, different jobs different military members would be perfect for. And sometimes, you know, guys are getting out of the military, guys and girls, they're getting out of the military, and they need to find themselves, you know, like, they may not just be their MOS, like they may want different opportunities. So don't put them into like a box. You know, I've met some amazing smart people that are veterans, and yeah, they always continually just shock me with, especially how they deal with people. They're amazing people with people, like, they've had to be, because they've had to deal, you know, like, you just think about it, and it's like you're thrown in with all these strangers, and then you just have to make it work. So I just hope people understand that it sucks to be laid off, and it really sucks to be laid off for a long period of time. You go through so many life changes, and it's hard, but I feel like I came out of this in a really positive way. So I don't want people to think that it's only negative. It is, you know, life does get better, and you really have to focus on both your mental and your physical health. And sometimes you have to be a little selfish. And, you know, that may look bad to some people, but who gives a shit about what they think? You need to focus on yourself sometimes, and we all need to make sure that we are doing what's best for us and what's best for our family. And yeah, so, but check on your friends and family that are veterans and military spouses, and do whatever you can to help them stay employed and get employed, because this is going to be a rough couple of months.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Yeah, if you doubted, truly everything that happens every day is a living daily proof of, you know, F around and find out. And I feel like a lot of white women right now, if ever somebody was very happy, blissfully living in ignorance, I feel like this is the time that everybody is getting their wake-up call, and they're learning from events that happen. Because not just the palm-colored women. If you look at the demographic of people who voted for Trump, they did it selfishly, and they didn't really think that them voting that way,
other groups.
No, they didn't think it would affect them. They knew that I think they were using other groups, especially the black community, as a cushion, you know, to cover themselves. Provided they were okay, they didn't care about what rights of the black community were going to be taken away, you know. And I'm like, are we supposed to sympathize for people who went out ahead and voted? It's not like if you didn't know, if it's a matter of not knowing, okay, we give you the grace, but the black community were busy on the internet trying to educate everybody. I bet people were just scrolling in their TikTok, meeting these videos and just scrolling. They didn't want to hear it. So now it's happening to you, and you're coming on the internet also again crying about how your job has been taken because you're now realizing that you are part of the DEI program. They only hired you because you are a woman. You realize that your food stamp has been taken away because of this and that. You realize that the disability benefits you are getting has been affected, you know, because of the rollbacks on some of these policies.
And right now, as I usually like to say, I feel like especially palm-colored people and other communities, they will have to do a really good job at showing the black community why the black community should start involving themselves in this fight that they now find themselves in. Because right now, it's quite interesting because a few black people in the internet, TikTok to be precise, have come out to say they've noticed that groups of Latinos and some palm-colored people are coming out on the internet eluding that black people are the ones who should start a revolution, and then they join the black people in order for them to fix what is being undone right now by their president. And I'm really glad that the black community is choosing to stay out of this one solely because they're not the one who undid everything that's happening right now. Right now, the groups that, you know, fell them into that ditch are the ones to extend ropes to get everyone out of that ditch, you know.
Right, and it's just a situation of, I feel like a lot, the black community did a lot to make sure that they made progress in terms of social equality and economic equality, in terms of getting jobs, but they were doing the job. It hadn't gotten to that point, but they were at a better place, you know. And then only for it to be undone but by these groups of people, you know. And I'm like, in this situation, to be honest, this is where you all should take lessons and note down some of the things that have happened, because this is just a test of let's just say wake up call, reality check for them, you know. And then let's talk about another group also of people who are getting affected by this, whatever is happening here, and the DEI rollbacks here. The veterans. And there's a lady who explained there that a lot of veterans really benefited from the DEI programs, and she talked about the wives of the veterans benefiting from this as well, you know. And I'm like, if you look at the palm-colored people, especially the veterans, they're very proud Americans, as they should be, you know. But okay, those ones who chose to vote for Trump, some people, it's like, not you're going to make a decision but you don't fully inform yourself. You just make it wishing for it to be the best outcome you can get from a situation. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I'll give an example of those people who also voted for Trump because they believed Obamacare and the healthcare, universal healthcare were two different things, because they thought the white population had their own healthcare covering them, and the black community were the only people benefiting from the Obamacare. And I feel like that is very malicious.
Yeah, it was very malicious. And now that you mentioned that, my biggest question is, as a human being with decency, why would you want to deliberately end a healthcare system that you know is benefiting a certain group,
or is helping in one or another,
and you want yours to be reinstated or remain the same? That is bad. Anyway, you know, what I can say is palm-colored people like this should stop already, because you can't keep crying out. Yeah, you can't keep crying out the rest of the year for the next 4 years. Thing is, you've already done the deed. Just walk your walk of shame by now starting to act upon
Exactly.
the steps you need to take to correct these things that you have undone. You know, you can't keep crying. Like, you've cried since November when Trump started doing some policies under the table, you know. So right now it's a time for them to stand up and actually start showing the country a direction to take in order to fix the country. They should stop waiting on Black America, you know.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section, yeah? And as usual, we want to thank you so much for keeping us company on this episode. Let's catch you on the next. Remember to subscribe if it's your first time here, right?